Welcome to U.S. Bank Stadium, where the Lions went on the road to take on Mike Zimmer's Minnesota Vikings. The ending to this game was a thriller, a gut punch. There's so many words that can describe it. The Lions, though, dropped this game number 5 to the Vikings, 19-17 after a time expiring 54.
I was proud of the way our guys fought, man. That's the first thing I told them. You know, it's tough to be 0-5. It's tough to lose like that again. But I was proud of them, man. I mean, I tell you, you don't find a way to get yourself back in a game and get to where we were at if you don't believe and give all that you have of it. So we just once again made one more mistake than they did, and it cost us. It's tough. It's tough. Look, you want it for yourself as an organization and for all of us, but you want it for those players. I mean, they're out there busting their ass, and you know, it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know how you look like you're a little emotional about this loss. I mean, how difficult is this couple weeks stretch back? It's so close to rip that in your hands. It's just unforgivable.
No, you just. When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough. You know, you don't want that for them. So, but we'll be better for it, you know. And there again, credit Minnesota, but you know, we made the one mistake that cost us, you know, and so ultimately, you know, we didn't do enough to win, but I was proud of them, and I love the fight they have in them, and I love the grit. I do. And when your defense plays that way, you got a chance to win every game. I thought our defense played lights out today. I really did.
Dan, I asked you after the Baltimore game, you know, what was going through your head as that ball was going through the air? What were you thinking about? What was going through your mind?
He's going to miss it. That's what I was thinking was going to go. And he didn't. So, you know. So then when it happens, you're surprised because you're expecting him to miss it.
What did you say to your team in the locker room?
Same thing. I was proud of them. Proud of the way they fought. I like the guys we got on this team. I like what they're about. I like how they come to work. I like how they haven't given up. I like how they just go. You know, they just go, and it'll pay dividends. It's outstanding, you know. And I said this. You saw this last week, and I've seen it the week before. The guy goes after the football. It's what this is not by accident or coincidence. He goes after the football. He makes a conscious effort to punch the ball out, and that becomes contagious when you get more than a few guys doing that. And he earned that, and he earned it for us. It was big. It was huge when we needed it most.
You mentioned the one mistake a couple of times. You talked specifically about.
Well, I think we all know there's a couple of mistakes in there that cost us. Well, one, when you turn over in plus territory, you know, that could be the difference in the game offensively. Once again, we shoot ourselves in the foot, and it hurt us, you know. It hurt us.
Dan, you faced a lot of questions this past week about the aggressiveness in Chicago and the fourth downs and everything. Can you talk us through the decision to go for 2 points there at the end and your faith there in Jared that he goes?
Yeah, I wanted to win that game, and I wanted to finish it out, and I felt the best way to win that game was to go for it, to go for the 2-point and be done with it. And I trusted our guys. You know, we'd worked it this week, and I trusted Goff. I trusted our old line. I trusted our receivers, our backs, and yeah. So I didn't. That was not. That to me was an easy decision for me to make.
Without watching the film, do you have any sense of what went wrong in the operation on the final drive there?
You're talking about at the end?
Yeah, Minnesota being able to drive, I think, 46 yards there in 37 seconds.
No, I mean, look, there's you're going to have some windows in there. We don't want to give up as much as we did, but you know, they made a couple plays and got down there, and until I can get my eyes wrapped on it and really digest it, you know. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, at the end of the day, that still wasn't an easy kick. It's not like that was a chip shot, you know. And so they made it. They got in position. 2 timeouts helped them with that much, you know. With that much time with 2 timeouts, you have a lot more time than you think you do, you know. And but on the flip side, it's like it's easy to say, hey, we'll run the clock, but also score a touchdown. Well, that's not as easy either. So anyway.
How badly do you want that first one? I mean, we don't see coaches get emotional. You know, I think it's that human element. How badly do you really want to get this first one? Like, seriously.
Well, I mean, look, of course, but it's there again, when you fight the way that when you put everything out there on the line, like they did and like they do, you want it for them and you want it for everybody, you know? I mean, everybody gives of themselves a lot of time, a lot of effort. Hey, that's what we do. And you just, you know, you want it. You want it for everybody, man. And you want to earn one. And we're this close. We hadn't done it. So we're not quite there. We hadn't quite got over the hump. But I do think in the long run, this is going to pay dividends for us. As ugly as it is right now and hard to swallow, and I do think we're building something special here that's going to serve us well in the long term.
First, I'm sure at least scrutinizing again the decision to rush 3 at the very end, the long pass. Just philosophically, why is that? Why do you guys feel that's the right thing to do?
Well, I think sometimes when you do that, you expose your outside. You know, you expose your secondary more when you rush 4, and so if you rush 4 and then that happens, you get hit on a shot play, then it's maybe we should have been a little bit more conservative. And so I think there's a give and take there. There's a risk reward by both. You know, well, you know, you've had success pressuring, and so I think you got to weigh the options as to what they're going to do, and then who you feel like you kind of need to take care of, or what, you know.
And then second, Goff has 7 turnovers, or 6 really, I guess, not including the one that Frank snapped off his leg. How do you get him out of the turnover fumble? He's a veteran quarterback. You know, some of these maybe shouldn't be happening to a guy his experience. So how do you sort of curtail that?
Yeah, I mean, that'll certainly be something that we look at, you know, because it's killed us a couple of weeks in a row, you know. Whether we've got to, you know, it could be as simple as, you know, trimming the calls back a little bit to where it's a little bit more mainstream and to the point and quick, easy. I see it in my head. We'd get lined up. You know, it's just a little less maybe moving parts, if you will. Maybe that's where we can help a little bit, you know. And so we'll look at everything with it, but it's, you know, it hurts us.
Is it hard for you to believe that you're standing here twice in one season, the first 5 games of your coaching career, basically describing the exact same scenario, exact same story, twice like everything? Is that hard to fathom how that?
No, I mean, look, anything can happen in this league. Here's what I try to just keep picturing in my head because I know it's coming, is we're going to be on the winning side of these before long, hopefully sooner than later, but it's coming. I just don't know when, but it's coming. When you play that way and fight that way and clean up a couple of these little mishaps that have shot us in the foot, our days of being on the winning side of that are coming.
Just quick test, one carted up to the locker room, any updates?
Yeah, it looks like it's in the shoulder front area. You know, could be his clavicle, could be his shoulder, but it doesn't look good. So.
Just the idea of aggression, right? We talk how aggressive you are on offense, going for these 4th downs and 2-point conversion. How does that contrast with the mentality of rushing 3 and being, I guess, more conservative there? How do you balance, I guess, those 2 things? It seems like they're counter to each other.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's a good question. It really is. It's a good question. There again, I just think, Justin, you have to make a decision on what you think's best, your guys versus their guys versus pressure versus coverage versus who needs help. You know, for example, when you see them and they're in they're in a double type empty wing, well, they're going to pound the edges. Well, pressure does you really no good. You're exposed now in the coverage because you just bought yourself time to push the ball down the field, you know. So some of those showed up, not a ton, but there are a couple. And you don't know when those are coming up. You play the odds, and so you got to be careful if you know, even if you want to rush 4 or 5 and they're going to try to somewhat max protect or at least pound it and then get out into the flats, you know, bang the edges, and you know, you expose yourself, and then you'll be kicking yourself that you weren't, and more in a rush 3, maybe you're playing coverage over the top or a kind of a double-double, and, you know, there again, you're playing for chunks. And look, it didn't work out, you know, it sure didn't. And but we'll look at it, you know, we're going to look at everything.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. It's tough. That was a heartbreaker.
Welcome back inside U.S. Stadium, where the Detroit Lions traveled to play the Minnesota Vikings here on their home turf in Game 5. The final score, don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't already seen it, 19-17. I mean, Lomas Brown, Dannie Rogers here. Lomas, what was more deafening, the Skol chance or that last, I don't know, 3-second field goal that went through the uprights as time was expiring?
I think the field goal, because I'm scarred, Danny. Like I told you earlier, if I see a field goal kicker anytime in the near future,
watch out.
I might jump on them, because it's been heartbreaking.
Yep.
This has been gut-wrenching. It's been all the superlative that you can say about losing a game, a hard-fought game, with no time left on the clock. It's discouraging, and you know, I just feel so bad for the players and the coaches in that locker room, because they fight so hard, and you fight for 60 minutes, and to lose it that way, it just doesn't seem to be fair sometimes.
Of course, Lomas referring to that 60 kick. That was the game winner for them, of course, against the Lions. But we were just listening to Dan Campbell's presser. Yeah. He was emotional, to say the least. What are your thoughts that you took away from that presser?
I feel it. I feel it, Danny. And you know, again, me and Dan Campbell were teammates for 2 years with the Giants, so he's a friend of mine. And you know, if a friend of yours is hurting, you hurt too. And I'm hurting right now for him, because I know they pour so much into this each and every week. And these players pour so much into it, going out on that field. And for them, like I say, for them to lose it the way they've lost 2 games this year, I just feel so sorry for him. And hopefully he'll be able to keep these guys' spirits up and keep his spirits up and fight through this and just keep going, just keep grinding, because that's all you can do right now.
Sure is. If you liked field goals, you were in for a treat today.
Yeah.
9 scoring drives, 7 of them on field goals.
Yes. I mean, and again, you can't really win games that way, even though, Minnesota won the game. Yeah, they won the game with a field goal. But, Danny, you just want the opportunities. When you get in scoring range, you want to try to put 7 points up as much as possible. You got to give the defenses a lot of credit. They stood strong when they had to, especially when Minnesota got in the red zone. And, again, Minnesota did a nice job against our offense today. So the defenses did pretty well. You just hope you could have got a little bit more out the offense and scored 7 points instead of 3 points.
You're talking about that defense. Let's take a look at the full stats from the game. The Lions defense, run game, pretty solid today.
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, I was really happy with what they were doing out there. I mean, I thought they did a great job. You know, of course, they were missing Dalvin Cook today, but Madison he's a very, very good runner. So I thought the defense did a great job. Kirk Cousins, he was pretty good at times, but when they had to stand up, when they had to really put up a stand, they were able to do that. I mean, to hold that offense to, 19 points today, that's not bad. But again, on our side, we just have to be able to put up points to help support the defense.
Yeah, sure thing. Jared Goff goes in there. I mean, the stat of the day, we've heard it multiple times. He leads the NFL in fumbles.
Yes.
But for him to go out in that fourth quarter and lead a scoring drive, what did you see out of that
Oh,
quarterback today?
man, I mean, resilience. And that's what we see from this team each and every week. This is a resilient Detroit Lion team. They're never going to give up. They're going to always keep themselves in games. It's just some of the silly things, especially the turnovers that you can't have. Those turnovers are really detrimental to your drives, to the team, and that's what's, I think, if I could point to one thing, I could say the turnovers have been the one thing that has really, really killed us over the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. In terms of that, going back to that defense, you saw Alex Anzalone come up with a huge interception. You had a couple sacks from Charles Harris,
Yes.
Trey Flowers. How much is that side of the ball growing here?
Oh, they are growing. I mean, and then Jalen Reeves-Maben with that strip,
Yep.
late in the game. So you could see them, and that's why when Coach says that he's close and they're getting close, I believe him, because they are. They're showing you signs and they're showing you things out there on the field that you can be encouraged by. But again, it's just the little things that you just have to clean up on, and those little things are penalties and turnovers.
Defensive front, most certainly coming along. However, we saw Justin Jefferson. He had over 100 yards through the air in the first half.
Yeah.
The Lions secondary, I mean, Adam Thielen had 2 explosive plays there in the fourth quarter that set them up for that 54-yard field goal. Where can that secondary continue to improve, and where do we need to see the biggest strides?
I think communication. I've been reading a lot, listening to Aaron Glenn and listening to what they're saying. And I think the big plays are coming from communication breakdown. So they're going to have to continue to communicate, get good communication out of these guys, make sure they're in the spots where they need to be at. And, of course, with that D-line, if they can continue to try to get pressure on the quarterback, of course, that's going to help the secondary out too. We got a lot of young guys back there, and those young guys are trying, but sometimes you have to be able to communicate between yourselves. And when you're in the opposing stadium like today, and it was loud, even without the skull chants, it was loud in here today. But that makes it even more important that you have to communicate and make sure you're in the right spots.
It sure does. That defense forcing Minnesota to kick 5 field goals, made 5 of 6. However, on the offensive front for the Lions, it did not get going until about 41 seconds left in the game. And that's our play of the game. DeAndre Swift, the 7-yard touchdown. Did you think that they were going to go for 2-point conversion? What did you want to see on that?
I was shocked.
Okay.
I really was.
Kick the extra point, tied up.
Exactly, but I'm glad he did that. I mean, and Dan Campbell said he's going to be aggressive, Danny. He said that. He kind of backed off a little bit because of what happened the weeks before, but I'm glad he went back to it. I'm glad he went for 2. We were feeling great up there when we were in
Dodge,
the lead.
feeling very great about it.
Oh my God, I think I might have hurt my hamstring jumping up in the radio booth.
A big moment for a younger player that has not had much experience in this league. And we talked about last week, Dan Campbell and his 4th down calls, red zone calls, not getting it done.
Right.
Now they kick some field goals, and they almost get it done today.
Well, he also told us that they were going to go back this week and they were going to practice. They went against the first team defense this week in practice, and I really think that helped them. I mean, again, they didn't have many opportunities in the red zone, pretty much just the one that they got, and they scored on it. But it's good to get down there, and it's good to score. So I'm glad they made the emphasis or put an emphasis on talking about red zone scoring when you get in the red zone. Hopefully they could just build off of that, Danny, and keep it going in the next game.
Sure. All right. Okay, let's hear from the quarterback, Jared Goff, now speaking at the podium.
Jared, one of the things that maybe has caught us off guard in this postgame was just the emotional state of Dan Campbell. Tears in his eyes, choking up here at the podium. Something we don't see a whole lot from Minnesota State Giants. It seems like following that up. So what does it mean to you as a player, just the emotional toll that these games have, how big he wants to win for you guys?
Excuse me. I think we all kind of feel the same way he does. It's hard. It's hard to give everything you got every week, and to have moments of feeling like you've won the game and have it snatched from you. It's tough. It's tough. It's as hard as it gets in this league, is to do stuff like that and to try to bounce back from it. I've said it every week, but we've got a resilient bunch who will bounce back, and Dan's our leader.
It's the second week in a row, 2 turnovers in plus territory. Those are, you said it before, those are just killers. What do you guys have to do is just be more careful with it, knowing you have to be more careful with just how you get those turned around?
Yeah, it's obviously stuff you don't want to happen, but I'm going to keep, letting it fly. I think, the fumble was just a lack of ball security by me, and I thought they made a great play on the interception. He made a one-handed catch. Not ideal, obviously, down in the plus territory, but things like that are going to happen. Our defense was able to force some turnovers of their own, and it makes the game pretty close there. But I can't play afraid to make a mistake.
Did you see Kendrick struggling the covers on that one, or popping like that?
I thought I could fit it by him.
When you go 27, 28 minutes without points in the second half, we've seen some of these droughts before. What gave you confidence that you guys could get it together in those closing moments to pull off the rally?
Yeah, I think obviously the play Jerem made there at the end is kind of, unbelievable. They were able to force a turnover there when they're trying to run out the clock, and when we got the ball in that situation, it gave us a little bit of life, and we were able to run the ball in there with Swift, and then the 2-point conversion was a play that we needed to make, and we made it. That's kind of the bottom line. Anything can happen throughout the game, and at the end of the game, you want to be able to be there to make those plays, and we did. Ultimately, they were able to finish with a field goal, but there's never one play. It's never one thing that loses or wins the game. It's a culmination of execution, effort, and being smart.
We keep talking about the aggression of Dan Campbell, right? 4th downs, but this is a different level. Last few seconds, go for 2-point conversion, win, loss on the line. I know we keep asking this, but what does it mean to have that faith in your coach in those moments?
Yeah, it means a lot, and I think he knows, that it means a lot to us as well. And I know had we had not get that, you guys would be killing them right now, and that's, rightfully so. But we did get it, and ultimately didn't finish the game off. But he's got a lot of faith in us down there in the tight red, and we've, I think proved him right more than not. But it was a good chance for us to prove him right again today.
Did you know he was going to go for it?
Yeah.
Even before he scored the touchdown?
Yep.
Or was it very much decided?
Yep.
Why did you know that?
He told me before the drive.
What did he say?
He said when we score, we're going to go for 2.
Like, how excited did that get you?
Yeah, I mean we're on the 12-yard line. We better score, right? We have got quite a bit of time, and was able to tell the offense, after we score, be ready. We're going to go for 2 again here, and I kind of expected it. The way that game was going, we get a chance to take the lead, you better take it. So, kind of expected it. Was able to connect there, and again, ultimately not enough.
Dan said you guys had a lot of good battles with the defense, and those got to have a situation in practice this week. It's like 50-50 both ways. I mean, I'm giving that to you. How many times you ran that 2-point conversion play in practice this week?
A lot.
How does that?
Well, and it speaks to our guys again. It's a good little tidbit. Is I don't know if Kadero Hodge ran that route ever. I think it was Cephas the whole time in practice, and then Cephas goes down, and Kadero steps in, and being a smart player, knowing what he's supposed to do, and gets himself open. So, that kind of indicates the type of guys we have, which is encouraging there.
Just back to the turnovers for a second. You have 6 in 5 games. Do you feel mistake with them at all? I mean, is there something that, I don't know, how do you sort of explain the rash of turnovers here?
Yeah, I think each one of them you have to look at individually, right? I think, if I'm making poor decisions, I think that's one thing. If it's lack of ball security, that's another thing. If it's they're making plays on defense, that's another thing. I think you have to look at them all individually. Obviously, you need to limit them. They need to go away, right? But I need to keep playing aggressively like I always have, and not allow things that may happen my way or their way, whatever it may be, affect the way that I play each play.
So do you think it's a split of those 3 things? How do you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think back that far to all of them, but today was, like I mentioned, ball security on one, and I thought Eric Kendricks made a great play.
This seems like a trash question, but because of what you guys have gone through, after you made that 2-point conversion, did you think you had the game won, or do you go, this is the NFL all this time.
Of course, you know it's the NFL, and you know they got some dudes over there who can make some plays. Of course, you're optimistic that this is the day we get the win. But yeah, they made it happen.
We heard Tracy Carson earlier talking about culture. You guys are all committed to trying to change the culture. How do you lift guys up and not let them start sinking and softening and going hard? Now, as a leader, how do you keep guys motivated?
Yeah, it's the hard part, right? Is keeping guys in the right frame of mind, and I think I've kind of said it over and over again, is we do have the right type of guys and the right group and the right leadership here that these things don't have as big of a negative pull on us as one may think from the outside. We've got the right guys, so but for me personally, how can I show up every day as the same guy? How can I show up every day and be that dude that people can look to as the beacon of positivity or the energy guy that can kind of pull guys along? And I think that's me, along with a bunch of guys on our team that have this experience, that have the ability to do that. And it's a responsibility we have, obviously, as leaders and captains, but it starts up top with Dan, and it kind of trickles through us.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That's all we got, guys.
Thank you, all.
We're going to scratch and claw and fight. And we're going to be something this city's proud of. We aren't just the Lions, we're the Detroit Lions. And we're driven by the best, by the people of this city. We are driven by Detroit.
Before we wrap up, we'll take a look at some scores around the NFL. Currently, Browns leading the Chargers 10-7 there in the second quarter. Bears losing to the Raiders 3-0. Cardinals 7-0 over the 49ers. You got the Cowboys beating the Giants 3-0 there early on in the first quarter. Of course, we're in the early slate of games here. 12 Central Time is when we kicked off. If you're just now joining us, Lions fall to the Vikings 19-17 after a gut-wrenching 54-yard field goal that went through the uprights as time was expiring. Something the Lions know too well about already this season after suffering a 66-yard field goal to Baltimore. All right, I don't want to keep opening any more wounds. However, Lomas, what are your final thoughts that you are taking from this Week 5 loss?
Well, I mean, again, a resilient team. That's the one thing that we can hang our hats on, is that this team is going to fight. This team is getting better. It really is. I agree with Coach Campbell that the team is getting better each and every week. They just got to find a way to get over the hump and get that first W in the column. Once you get that, then I think you feel good about yourself. Your confidence goes to another level. So hopefully we'll be able to get one of these close games, Danny, because I'm tired of these field goal kickers right now.
Real tired of those field goal kickers. Okay, next week, Week 6. Cincinnati Bengals, they're coming to Detroit. Joey Burrow.
Yes.
What do you expect from a Bengals team?
Well, I mean, again, another team that a high-powered offense, like you say, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, that they have on that side of the ball. You know, they got Nixon in the backfield, and they got a pretty good defense. Their defense isn't bad. So, again, what's going to be important for us to put 4 quarters together. I don't think we could start late. I don't think we just have to come out the gates just swinging. Just come out swinging, Danny. We're going to be at home. We'll have our crowd behind us. So just come out and just lay it all out on the line, and hopefully we'll be able to get that W.
A dub in the first third of the season.
Yes.
I mean, not. It could change. It could continue to set the tone. It could change things.
Absolutely. I mean, a W, it just feels so good. I mean, your food tastes better. You want to go to practice. You don't mind getting hit or mind being a little sore when you got that W to show for some of that hard work that you put in. And that's what's at stake right now. Those guys seeing some of this hard work that they put in all the way from preseason all the way up until now.
Right. An emotional head coach, Dan Campbell, said this this week in practice, he is not letting there be any anchors to this squad that are going to bring down the mindset of this team and bring down the energy. He says, nope, there's no time for that here in Detroit. They're trying to get some W's up there on the board. All right, for Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning into the Lions post-game show. We will see you Week 6, Ford Field. Lions host the Cincinnati Bengals. See you then.